The brutal assassination of Thomas Sankara, who was betrayed by a friend and a brother.
A little, Sankara takes his country out of misery, achieves food self-sufficiency, but clashes with the French who want to keep control over their former colonies. Above all, they want to avoid by all means that Sankara's ideas spread throughout the region.
La France ne comprend pas l'Afrique et il est grand temps qu'elle la comprenne.
Qui ici ne souhaite pas que la dette soit purement et simplement effacée?
Thomas Sankara was a charismatic revolutionary leader who led Burkina Faso from 1983 until his assassination in 1987. He is widely regarded as a Pan-Africanist and a champion of social justice, and his legacy continues to inspire activists and politicians around the world. Born in 1949 in Yako, Burkina Faso, Sankara was the son of a multi-ethnic group mother and a father of mixed ethnic origins.
And with an unusual passion, he played the guitar. The hobby started from an early age in his family home.
Il jouait la guitare, il venait jouer et la maman chantait le credo. C'est une famille catholique. La maman chantait les chants lyriques de l'église catholique et lui il jouait la guitare.
He was raised in a military family, and after completing his primary education, he was sent to the prestigious military academy in Madagascar. Sankara then returned to Burkina Faso, where he served as an officer in the army and rose through the ranks quickly. In 1983, Sankara led a military coup that overthrew the government of Jean-Baptiste Ouédraogo. Sankara became the president of Burkina Faso and immediately began a radical program of social and economic reforms. He renamed the country from Upper Volta to Burkina Faso, which means land of the upright men, and declared war on corruption, imperialism, and neocolonialism.
Même l'esprit des hommes, il nous a fait évoluer. Il nous a fait comprendre que d'abord, il n'y a pas quelqu'un pour venir nous construire notre pays, c'est nous qui allons le bâtir. Et il nous a fait comprendre que nous ne sommes pas moins que les autres peuples.
One of Sankara's most significant achievements was his emphasis on gender equality. He declared that women hold up half the sky, and he worked to end gender discrimination in all spheres of society. Sankara banned female genital mutilation, forced marriages, and polygamy, and he even encouraged women to participate in politics and take up leadership roles. He also appointed women to high-level positions in his government, including his wife, Miriam Sankara, who served as Minister of Women's Affairs. Sankara also launched ambitious agricultural programs aimed at achieving food self-sufficiency. He encouraged farmers to adopt traditional and sustainable farming practices and provided them with seeds, fertilizers, and tools. Sankara also launched a massive reforestation campaign to combat deforestation and desertification, which also devastated Burkina Faso's natural resources. Sankara was a vocal critic of Western imperialism and neoliberalism. He opposed foreign aid and debt, arguing that they perpetuated the dependency of African nations on the West.
La France ne comprend pas l'Afrique et il est grand temps qu'elle la comprenne.
Qui ici ne souhaite pas que la dette soit purement et simplement effacée? Celui qui ne le souhaite pas, il peut sortir, prendre son avion et aller tout de suite à la Banque mondiale payer.
He called for an end to the exploitation of Africa's resources and for a fairer distribution of wealth both within and between nations. He also advocated for the formation of a united Africa free from colonial and neo-colonial interference. Sadly, Sankara's time in power was short-lived. In 1987, he was overthrown in a coup led by his former ally and friend, Blaise Compaoré. Sankara was assassinated along with the 12 of his closest collaborators.
C'est la première fois que moi je viens ici, après 27 ans. C'est douloureux, it is painful, c'est très douloureux à supporter. On ne peut pas, si je ne les vois pas, mais à l'évocation des noms, 27 ans c'était comme si c'était hier. On entend comme des rafales de pluie, quand vous êtes dans une maison en tôle, des crépitements. Voilà où tout est parti. Et le camarade président se lève en ce moment-là, c'est de moi qu'ils ont besoin. Il sort les mains en l'air, je précise bien, les mains en l'air.
His death was a tremendous loss to Burkina Faso and to the wider African continent. However, his legacy lives on, and his ideas continue to inspire social justice activists around the world. Sankara and 12 of his closest collaborators were killed in a hail of bullets fired by members of the Presidential Guard, a unit of the Burkinabe army. The exact circumstances of Sankara's death remain unclear, and there are different accounts of what happened. According to some reports, Sankara was ambushed in his office by members of the Presidential Guard, who had been ordered by Compaoré to carry out the attack. Sankara was reportedly shot multiple times, and his body was then transported to an unknown location and buried in an unmarked grave. Other reports suggest that Sankara may have been killed in a more elaborate conspiracy involving foreign intelligence agencies. Some have speculated that French intelligence services were involved in the assassination, as Sankara had been a vocal critic of French neocolonialism and has sought to reduce Burkina Faso's dependence on France. However, these claims remain unverified, and no conclusive evidence has been produced to support them. The reasons for Thomas Sankara's assassination are complex, and there is no one clear answer. However, there are several factors that are thought to have contributed to his death. Firstly, Sankara's revolutionary policies and political agenda had made him many enemies, both within Burkina Faso and abroad. He had nationalized many industries and enterprises, reduced the salaries of government officials, and eliminated corruption, all of which angered many powerful individuals and groups.
At the time of his death, he had a salary of $450 a month, and his most valuable possessions were a car, 4 bikes, 3 guitars, a fridge, and a broken freezer.
Additionally, his efforts were to empower women, promote social justice, and reduce poverty, threatening the interests of those who had benefited from the previous regimes. Secondly, Sankara's criticism of Western imperialism and his cause for African unity had made him a target of Western powers, particularly France. Sankara had advocated for an end to neocolonialism and had called for African nations to reduce their dependence on Western aid and influence. His stance on these issues had put him at odds with powerful Western interests, which may have played a role in his assassination. Finally, Sankara's relationship with Blaise Compaoré, who had been his close friend and ally, had soured in years leading up to his death. Compaoré had become increasingly disillusioned with Sankara's policies and leadership styles, and he had grown resentful of Sankara's popularity and influence. In 1987, Compaoré launched a coup against Sankara and took over power, and Sankara was subsequently assassinated. Regardless of the details of Sankara's death, it is clear that his assassination was a tragic loss for Burkina Faso and for the wider African continent. Sankara was a charismatic and visionary leader who had inspired millions of people with his message of social justice and Pan-Africanism. His legacy continues to inspire activists and political leaders around the world who seek to create a more just and equitable society. In July 2022, Burkina Faso's former president Blaise Compaoré, sentenced in absentia to life in jail for the 1987 assassination of revolutionary icon Thomas Sankara, later apologized for his role in the death of the Pan-Africanist. In a message, he said, quote, "I ask the Burkinabe people for forgiveness for all the acts I may have committed during my tenure, and especially the family of my brother and friend, Thomas Sankara. I take responsibility for and regret from the bottom of my heart all the sufferings and tragedies experienced by all victims during my terms as leader of the country, and ask their families to grant me their forgiveness." Mr. Compaoré, who had been living in exile in Côte d'Ivoire after being ousted from power, returned to Burkina Faso without facing arrest after the country's military leader, Lieutenant Colonel Paul Henry Sandaogo Damiba, invited him in the name of national reconciliation. To conclude this documentary, Thomas Sankara was a remarkable leader who dedicated his life to the fight against social injustice and oppression. He was a visionary who understood the interconnectedness of economic, social, and environmental issues and worked tirelessly to create a more equitable and sustainable world. His legacy is a reminder of the power of grassroots activism and the importance of standing up for what is right, even in the face of great adversity. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe before you leave. As always, share and like this video for more. Bye for now.